These drone images first appeared online 10 months ago, on September 17, 2019. Uyghur prisoners on their knees, shackled, blindfolded, on the move, their fate unknown. It is hard to pinpoint exactly why the video took this long to go truly viral, for its impact to be felt. Other stories on Xinjiang may have changed things. June 28th, an Associated Press report on the state driving down birth rates in the province, forcing Uyghur women to use contraception, in some cases into aborting their unborn children. July 19th, a New York Times investigation into forced labor, Uyghurs compelled to make face masks and other kinds of PPE. Perhaps those stories are what gave the drone video new life, the attention it always deserved.
Interestingly enough, we see some blindfolded men dressed in civilian clothes being escorted with the group. The absence of a standard uniform suggests to me that they haven't been formally processed and most certainly are at the pre-trial stage of incarceration.
Seeing a Chinese ambassador on a Western media outlet used to be rare. That is no longer the case. Beijing's diplomatic corps has been aggressively defending China's response to COVID-19 on all kinds of news channels. Warding off questions on Xinjiang presents a different set of challenges. The Communist Party line that Uyghurs are being re-educated, not incarcerated, simply does not stand up when the questions are backed with video evidence that appears incontestable.
Can you tell us what is happening here?
He had to pause for a while. He had to think, how am I going to respond to this in a way that's acceptable to my superiors?
Xinjiang, have you been to Xinjiang yourself?
No, I never have.
You know, Xinjiang is regarded as the most beautiful place in Xinjiang. There's a Chinese saying, you do not know how big China is.
Ambassador, that is not beautiful coverage, however, is it?
Adrian Zenz is an academic who, from his base in Germany, studies Chinese government documents online and turns them into news stories. He recently produced a piece on Beijing's population control policies in Xinjiang, detailed target data going back to 2015. On how many Uyghur women would be implanted with IUDs, how many would be sterilized. His research was published by the Associated Press on June 28th. China's response came from its top diplomatic spokesman and then from the state-controlled media.
And only a couple of days later, Foreign Policy carried the Chinese state media response to my piece, a personal attack that is trying to discredit my reputation, trying to smear my motivation, arguing that I'm sort of supported or work for US intelligence. My views on these matters are actually quite mixed. I don't have a strictly conservative view on the welfare state or the economy. If you look at also my research, anybody could have produced it. It's based on Chinese government documents. These are basically very cheap kind of character assassination attempts.
Another chilling aspect of this story are the televised confessions, clearly made under duress, broadcast on state-controlled media. Uyghurs who haven't been seen for weeks or months, many of whom have relatives outside China, suddenly appearing on the air. They have the look of hostages, turned into propaganda tools by the state.
Hello everyone, this is
Aljezeera China has been campaigning for the release of her father, who is a Muslim scholar and publisher who disappeared for many years, and out of the blue he appeared, looked very different, head shaven, urging the daughter to stop bad-mouthing China.
Eğer partiye hükümet bulmagan bolsa, bizning bugünkidek baxtiyar turmuşumuz hergiz bulmagan bo'lardi.
They say the Chinese government basically using their parents as hostage to threaten them to keep quiet. If they don't, and more horrible things will happen to their loved ones.
For more than half a century, the target of the Chinese Communist Party's propaganda has been its own citizens. But 2020 and COVID-19 have put China in the global spotlight, facing an unprecedented PR predicament. Its messaging techniques have hardened. The CCP is on the offensive, setting its sights on foreign audiences, overseas Chinese, and on the Xinjiang story, Uyghurs living abroad.
as media continues to focus on mass detentions, enforced labor, I believe the CCP has taken their strategy into a new phase. And we've seen a really startling increase in the number of convictions in Xinjiang, and many of the crimes are arbitrary and capricious. For example, committing crimes that disrupt public order or extremism. And in the meantime, we see a lot more of human intelligence gathering. So we see an increasingly invasive state that's occurring outside the confines of detention and forced labor. So really, no Uyghur is shielded or insulated from the long reaches of the state.